Marc Márquez's speed data from the Sepang Test was suddenly leaked by Ducati's boss, and the figures immediately sent his rivals into a frenzy. His time was said to be unreasonable and far ahead of his rivals on the hot Malaysian track, a warning sign that could no longer be ignored. Will Marquez truly dominate this season without mercy? Let's discuss it. The 2026 MotoGP pre-season test at Sepang presented many unexpected surprises and drama. From day one, the riders showed their full potential, but one name never escaped the spotlight: Marc Márquez. This was not only because of his threatening speed on the track, but also because of the confidence he exuded in every session. Interestingly, it wasn't just his time that set the paddock into an uproar. Rather, it was a simple comment from Marquez that sparked a wave of speculation. His remarks seemed casual, yet their meaning was deeply felt by rivals and observers alike. Throughout the 3 days of testing at Sepang, Marquez performed impressively. He was the fastest on the first day and ultimately finished 4th in the final standings. This was a very solid result for a rider who had just returned from a difficult period due to a long injury. However, his time wasn't surprising. In a post-test interview, Marquez casually said, "Overall, we've done a good job, but of course, there's still work to be done. There are 2 or 3 riders who are currently faster than me. That's a fact I have to acknowledge and improve." That sentence sounds familiar. In the world of MotoGP, though, statements like this rarely come from a world champion. Typically, top riders emphasize the positives first, but not Marquez. This is when many observers began to interpret the situation differently. For some analysts, this wasn't a sign of weakness. Quite the opposite. It was a clever mental strategy. Marquez seemed to be lowering public expectations while simultaneously pressuring his rivals. Without bragging, he made his opponents feel superior before the season even started. Interestingly, Ducati's Davide Tardozzi hinted that Marquez hadn't reached his full potential. What did that mean? 4th place could be superficial. At Sepang, several riders performed well. Alex Marquez was the fastest overall. Fabio Di Giannantonio and Marco Bezzecchi also finished ahead of Marc by a narrow margin. For Marquez, however, this situation was a first step. It's not a warning sign, but rather fuel to bounce back even stronger. This is where his ingenuity comes in. He's not just racing on a motorcycle, he's playing with psychology. If anyone still doubted Marc Márquez's ingenuity and speed at Sepang, statements from Ducati officials reinforced the opposite narrative. Davide Tardozzi made a surprising admission. He said that Marc had not yet demonstrated his maximum performance. Marc isn't 100% physically fit yet, and I don't think he's unleashed all his abilities. But the way he controls his rhythm already demonstrates the level of a champion. This statement immediately sparked speculation. If Marquez hasn't performed at his full potential, what will his speed be like when he's in peak physical condition? Furthermore, Ducati course general manager Gigi Dall'Igna also weighed in. This figure, who is not often known for his excessive praise, gave a strong signal about Marquez's potential. Marc is a rider with extraordinary instincts. He quickly understands the characteristics of the bike and knows how to maximize the potential of the existing package. According to Dall'Igna, Marquez's adaptation to the Desmosedici GP26 has been remarkably rapid. In fact, the data shows that he is already capable of maintaining consistent lap times in long-run simulations, which usually takes riders returning from long-term injuries longer to achieve. The most interesting comments came from his teammate and internal rival, Francesco Bagnaia. Bagnaia admitted that Marquez's presence brought its own kind of pressure to the Ducati garage. Marc always knows how to be in the right place at the right time. He may seem relaxed, but he's really fast. We can see that in the data. Pecco's admission seemed to confirm one thing. Marquez isn't just fast on the stopwatch. He also looks fast in the telemetry data. Many analysts interpreted the combined statements from Tardozzi, Dall'Igna, and Bagnaia as a signal that Ducati is well aware of their immense potential. If Marquez hasn't unleashed his full potential at Sepang, the 2026 season could be even more impressive. The next drama came from Toprak Razgatlioglu. Before testing began, he issued an open challenge to Marquez via social media. He sounded confident and appeared to challenge the world champion directly. The public eagerly awaited his test at Sepang. However, he responded not with words, but with results. Marquez appeared focused, calm, and consistent throughout the test. Although he only finished fourth, his rhythm and control were considered very mature. In contrast, Toprak struggled to adapt. His times were inconsistent, he didn't feel optimal on the bike, and he had to settle for 18th place. The contrast was striking. Interestingly, after the test, Toprak's tone changed drastically. "Marc is extraordinary. I still have a lot to learn. He's more prepared and calmer in situations like this." After initially challenging Marc, Toprak now acknowledged his superiority. The paddock immediately began buzzing with discussions about this mental duel. Many felt that, even though the season hadn't started yet, Marquez had already won the psychological battle. At the MotoGP level, confidence alone isn't enough. What matters is proving yourself on the track. In Sepang, Marquez responded with action. The 2026 Sepang Test was not just about rider drama. The spotlight was also on Yamaha. The V4 engine project, touted as a turning point for Yamaha's performance, raised major questions instead. From day one, the Yamaha riders appeared uneasy. They struggled to maintain consistency, and the data was unreliable. The climax came on the second day. Surprisingly, Yamaha did not take to the track. It wasn't due to strategy or the weather, but rather technical issues with the V4 engine that were deemed too risky to continue. This decision immediately sparked speculation. A team representative simply said, "We found an issue that can't be ignored. It's better to stop temporarily than to take a big risk." A safe bet. However, this only made the public more curious. How serious is the problem? Is the V4 project not yet mature? Pre-season testing is a golden opportunity to gather data. While other manufacturers are making the most of their time, Yamaha has been forced to sit on the sidelines. Now, the pressure is on them. Time is ticking, the season is about to start, and MotoGP waits for no one. Meanwhile, news from Honda is equally interesting, though it hasn't received much attention. The Japanese manufacturer is struggling to achieve consistent performance with its latest RC213V at Sepang. Honda riders have repeatedly complained about a lack of rear grip and stability when exiting fast corners, which has prevented them from achieving competitive lap times. Despite this, Honda's technical team emphasized that their primary focus in this pre-season test is data collection and long-term development rather than chasing positions. The 2026 Sepang Test sent a powerful message. Marc Márquez is more than just a fast rider. He's also a strategist. He knows when to attack, when to play it safe, and when to let his opponents feel like they have the upper hand. Could 2026 be the year of Marc Márquez's full comeback? Let us know your thoughts below.